everybody at NorthCountry, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our annual meeting, and I want to thank you for making our annual meeting, making our annual meeting part of your day. So thank you for taking the time. I'm going to step out. I always feel kind of boxed in by podiums. I hope people don't mind. I much prefer to be out and about. It's a little easier for the presentation. You know, a few months ago, I was walking in downtown Burlington, and I bumped into a member who I know quite well, and we talked for a minute or two. And then after that, she remarked to me that she was really looking forward to being here today. She was really looking forward to coming to our annual meeting. She's been before, enjoys the format, has always really liked the featured speaker. And then she said, I always look forward to the story you tell about your family, too. I thought that was a little bit interesting because my remarks mostly focus on the credit union. But afterward, I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that she had a point. I mean, after all, 3 years ago, I did tell a story about my son, Christopher, and the importance of making an assistant on a team. And 2 years ago, I did tell a story about my daughter, Emily, and her engagement level as she skipped and sang on her way into school every day. And last year, I told a story about my son, Patrick, and how by working together, we were able to persevere through very difficult circumstances and complete a marathon. So as I began to prepare my remarks for this year, I faced a bit of a dilemma. You see, I only have 3 children. I wondered, what story would I tell this year? I was walking in the office one day, and I mentioned this to a coworker. She suggested I adopt a pet. Now, I didn't do that, and I'm not quite sure that a story about a turtle would be rather interesting or applicable to the credit union. So I had to think a little bit more. And as I did, the story I decided I wanted to share with you today actually occurred at the end of this annual meeting exactly 1 year ago in this room. So when annual meetings finish, and they're completed, what normally happens is a certain number of members will want to come up and see me, and many just want to say hello and introduce themselves or say thank you, and a few ask questions. And so it was towards the end of the line last year. In fact, it was the second to last member who approached me. She came up to me and said, you know, thank you for having me, and I have just a couple of questions. I said, great. And the first was, can you tell me what the annual meeting costs? I said, I don't have all the final invoices in yet, but the budget amount's $45,000. And she then asked, well, how do you justify that expense to the members? And you know what? That is a very appropriate question to ask. And the reason is that NorthCountry, as a financial cooperative and a credit union, is equally owned by every one of its members. And what that means to you is, as member owners, you have a vested interest in the financial performance of our credit union and the decisions as to how we spend our money. So I did pause for a moment. And I said, well, the first purpose is we come together to communicate and to celebrate the value of a year's worth of work. And as Kathy mentioned a few moments ago, the annual meeting really provides us a unique opportunity and venue to pull our 4 stakeholder groups together in one setting. And the stakeholder groups for NorthCountry are our members, our employees, our community partners, and our volunteer leaders, which include board and supervisory committee members. And the annual meeting supports the strategic goals of this organization, which really simply are to attract, develop, and provide world-class experiences for each of those stakeholder groups. And furthermore, it's our assessment that when we come together and we celebrate success, it motivates us and enables us to do more and really do more with all of you here. So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about some of our 2017 successes. We had a year of achievement for our members in 2017. beginning in March when we opened our Morrisville branch. And from the minute we opened that branch, the response by the community was overwhelming. We had aggressive projections going in, yet growth far exceeded all of our expectations. And we launched the branch with a different staffing model than we ever had before. One where each employee was universally trained and able to answer any question a member would ask about all of our products and services. In 2017, we launched the REACH program because we understood the obstacles student loan debt was creating for the home ownership dreams of our younger members. And REACH greatly reduces the burden of that student loan debt by consolidating it at a very low fixed interest rate when a member chooses to finance the purchase of their home with NorthCountry. And lastly, I'm very proud to say that at the end of 2017, our member satisfaction and loyalty scores reached all-time highs. You see, we survey our members regularly so we can understand what we are doing well and where we have opportunities to improve. And these results validate our efforts as we continue to transform NorthCountry into a world-class service organization. 2017 was a year of success for our employees as well. As demonstrated by the slideshow before, we won numerous awards, including the Governor's Workplace Wellness Award. NorthCountry was also recognized as one of Vermont's best places to work. And our level of employee engagement truly reached world-class levels, as we ranked in the top 4% of companies worldwide for employee engagement. And what I think all these efforts mean is that we are building ourselves, our brand and our reputation as a destination for those Vermonters seeking an invigorating career and an opportunity to develop their professional skills. The success continued with our community partners, and at NorthCountry, we consider our community partners to be fellow credit unions. And with that in mind, in June of last year, we merged with Granite Hills Credit Union, which increased our branch footprint, particularly in Washington County, and allowed us to provide greater convenience and better service for all of our members. I'm extremely proud to say that in 2017, NorthCountry donated nearly $400,000 to hundreds of nonprofits located throughout the 10 counties that we serve. The mission of these great organizations is to help and protect those who are in greatest need, and they include partners that we are proud to be associated with, including the Lancome, the Greater Burlington Y, and Hope. And lastly, NorthCountry staff personally gave 760 hours of their time as service to causes important to them to make Northern Vermont a better place for all of us to live. We're also really proud of our success with our volunteer leaders. The commitment that our volunteer leaders, our board and supervisory committee members have made to NorthCountry is remarkable. We totaled up the hours, and NorthCountry's board and supervisory committee spent over 56 working days on credit union-related education and development, so they would be best prepared to make the critical strategic decisions that come before them now and well into the future. And we also celebrate the age and gender diversity on our board, knowing that it brings multiple perspectives and viewpoints to issues, discussions, and decisions we make as an organization. So this is a word cloud that was created when we asked NorthCountry staff to describe the credit union in one word. And as you can see, the word that was used most frequently and is most pronounced in this word cloud is family. And as I was putting the finishing touches on my remarks, I remembered that conversation with the member of Burlington. And although I did not share a new story about my own family this year, what I did share was stories about NorthCountry's family and our family's success. And NorthCountry's family includes our 4 stakeholders groups, and therefore I think includes everyone in this room. And it has been my absolute privilege to share with you the success of our family in 2017, because when we do that, it motivates us and enables us to do more. Thank you. So based on feedback from last year, we are adding a designated time for question and answers this year. So I'm going to stay up here, and Jesse LaBelle, who's going to stand up and wave, is going to be running the mics back and forth to people for about up to 10 minutes. And so I'd be delighted to entertain any questions from any members that we have. So if you want to stand or raise your hand, we will get a mic to you. Hi, Eliza.
Thank you. I was wondering if you have any plans for expansion this year, or are planning to add any more branches?
Our plans for expansion for 2017 of additional branches is focused mostly on building out our Lindenville branch to be the right size and capacity to serve those members. So Lindenville, we've looked at the metrics. We've served that community since the early 90s, and it is arguably our busiest branch. And the staff has done, and some of them are here today, a heroic job in difficult circumstances, because they simply don't have the capacity to serve their members as well as they should be able to. We've acquired the lot next door, and we are working on designs and creating a project to expand the branch on that same location to allow more parking, about double the office space, nearly double the square footage to be able to better serve those members. That will take up the bulk of 2018. In 2019, I think our opportunities will be look at new areas within the 10 counties that we serve for branch expansion. So, thank you, Eliza. Are there any other? There's a question at the back of the room.
Do fewer people visit your branches? And if so, well, answer that question. And then the second part to that is, how do you ensure, either way, visiting the branches or someone who takes advantage of the online services get the utmost customer service?
Yeah. Really, really good question. You know, when I started at NorthCountry in 2000, over 18 years ago, on Friday afternoons at our Swift Street location, the line to access teller services would literally extend out the branch and all the way outside the building at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the demand for teller services has decreased some, and automation has made that process more efficient. But what we're really finding is members are needing to come in for more value-added services where we're being able to consult with members and help them make their financial decisions in a way that best benefits them. The question about service, so we are moving to a digital age, and NorthCountry's strategy is to maintain excellence both in the online and digital space and the community space as well within our branches. And we believe as a community financial institution and as a credit union serving Northern Vermont, that when we can have unparalleled service in branch for members who need to come in and talk to a person, or over the telephone and a member resource team, and excellence online and digital, we will truly create a value proposition that differentiates us from other financial institutions. Thank you. Hi. Jesse.
Hi, my name is Sandra Beeler, and I do a lot of my banking online, although once in a while I dash into the branch just to see people. Security is a big issue these days, so what can you tell us about online security for your products?
Security is an enormous issue. You know, we certainly are hearing a lot out on the news about different organizations, you know, struggling with that issue. What I can tell you is over the past number of years, really starting probably a decade ago and continuing, it remains a focus in our budget. It's a focus in our discussions as a leadership group. We test our security regularly, and that includes our network testing and testing of employees that we follow certain procedures. And it remains an area of heightened vigilance. It's a top priority, and it's a concern that is critical for all of us, and has gotten an ever-increasing share on an annual basis budget allocation towards it as well. It's not a, you know, I mentioned doing a marathon earlier in the presentation. It's not that you never reach a destination. You're always running the race and doing everything you can to stay ahead. And our strategies include our network, our firewall, how we're setting up our system. User training is critical, and testing both of the physical infrastructure and of the employees that we follow procedures. That gets reported on a quarterly basis to the board, and it is an area that is audited as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sharon Wildy, and I'm new to Vermont. Hello again.
Hi.
And new to this credit union. My question is, how have you looked into servicing the baby boomer generation? Because here we are, and it's a big cliff in terms of our tech knowledge, in terms of the frustrations and the issues that we bring to managing our financial lives. Have you considered what services you might bring to that particularly unique group of people?
Yeah, thank you. You know, our goal is to serve all of the demographics that we have in Vermont, and it's no secret that you know, the Vermont population is heavily weighted towards the baby boom generation. So servicing them is important. We do consider, when we talk about our services, frequently. I mentioned earlier in the presentation, I was proud of the age diversity that we have on our board, because we will have conversations about how we serve our younger members and the services that are needed by our members who perhaps are still in the workforce or planning to exit the workforce as well. That is an area that will continue to have a lot of conversation as to how we service the broad spectrum of our members. And that's part of our strategy to both be excellent in branch and where we can talk to a person and have those human interactions, and online and digital as well. So, thank you for your question.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Oh.
Thank you for this meeting today. I'm a member of NorthCountry, and I really want to say that I don't have a question. I just wanted to make a comment when you discussed diversity in your business. I just wanted to comment that when I walk into the Swift Street branch and I see the receptionist who is an elderly person, I just want to thank you, because I think it's great that you recognize that age, the age factor is something that we need to be aware of in business. So I think it's great that you have, I don't know if she's here.
She's here. Carolyn. Carolyn's a superstar for us. And she does a great job, and we are absolutely fortunate to have her. And thank you for that comment. We appreciate that.
Good afternoon. My name is Tiki Cass, and I've been a member of the credit union for almost 40 years. I started when I was a baby. One of the concerns or things that I would like the credit union to explore is I think children today have a hard time understanding money and the value of money because everything is so technically oriented. I have a grandson that I take to the Colchester branch to deposit his allowance. And when I was a child, when I put my money in a savings account, I had a bank book. And so what I've asked the tellers there to do is to take a check register and stamp it with the date, the amount that he deposits, and his balance. And he has this to look at. And it encourages him to bring his money to the credit union. And I would like to see something implemented that would encourage our children to bring their money to a savings institution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have time for one more question, and I see a hand right over here.
Hi, I'm Camelia Morrison, and we've been members since the Swift Street since 1994 as well, believe it or not. And I want to just piggyback on what she was just saying. Actually, today we have our 12 and 13-year-old, two of our children who are here with us at the time. And we were having that very conversation as we traveled here to the Northeast Kingdom, approximately an hour and a half to be with you here today. And we would appreciate having things, the community bank and other banks actually kind of target with TD Club or different things that do incentivize and educate. And I think it's a fabulous thing that would happen because we were speaking about that. Two, I also wanted to comment that the branches are excellent in terms of their service. And as you branch into the future to hold on to the past, that some people do appreciate having a live operator at the end of that phone. And it's one of the things that really separates. When I have a question, I don't want to go through a web page. I don't want to go through your frequently asked. I want to be able to have that question answered by the excellent service on the other end of the line. I've only had one experience that wasn't stellar. Everything else for all of these years and decades have been excellent. So I thank you for that. Thank you for the expanding and the opportunity to be here today and to have a place to call home and to come here and to be together. So thank you for all you do.
And thank you so much for the time to be here today. I will say that, the human connection that you really spoke of is so important to us. And that's something that will be part of NorthCountry into the industry.